the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup for schoolboy eights, and we've got a real classic on our hands here. Hampton School on the Berkshire station, Radley College on the Buckinghamshire station. And Sarah, these are two schools that frequent this Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup often.
Yes, they need no introduction in this event. Radley College, Hampton School. A few steering corrections there. The coxswains just struggling maybe with a little bit of the flow around Temple Island, but now getting themselves back into it. Radley were really close to those boys as they came out of the blocks and then really came back out into the centre of the course. So I'll have to get settled here, but Hampton School just taking the opportunity to grab a seat or two.
Yeah, and I think they know they'll need to do that because, again, on paper, coming into this event, Radley are silver medalists from the National Schools Regatta, so second best in the country overall. Hampton in that same event were 8th in the final, so a few rankings down. But look at this, Hampton still holding their own here as we approach halfway in this course. Hampton under new coaching stewardship. Josh Butler, the ex-Westminster coach, now moving to the upper stretches of the Thames to coach the Hampton boys. But Radley, you know, they've got one of the records that nobody wants in the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup, which is record losses in the final. 7 losses in finals overall in this event. But given the race that Hampton are giving them here, Sarah, could we see a surprise exit of Radley on day one?
Look, I don't know that I'd be putting money on that happening. I think that Radley are just getting themselves up into the lead here, but it's been a really extraordinary race from Hampton School. I mean, if you're coming up against a crew like Radley, what do? I think you throw the kitchen sink at it.
And we'll see that payback in the second half of the course, right? I'm only teasing. I think that they really have thrown everything at the first. They've raced to the end of the island and a bit beyond, but now Radley half a length up as we come in towards Upper Thames and the half mile, and they're stretching out here seat by seat.
Yeah, perhaps Radley just rattled a little bit by that little steering correction at the start, and then having Hampton School sit in front of them, it looked like they were a little bit racy, but I think really now they're starting to settle into their rhythm and getting some confidence back as they go down the track. And I'm sure we'll see Radley just really ease into their rhythm, get more and more confident with each stroke and each bit of distance that they put into Hampton School. But Hampton School still right up there, still racing. They're looking to throw everything at this race. I mean, it's a tall order to come up against a crew like the Radley crew on day one, as you say.
Yeah, it is a really tough draw for them. But look, Hampton, new coaching structure. I think they'll have a really good, encouraging thoughts about Henley's in years to come. You know, we must remember that Hampton, one of the schools in the late 80s that dominated this Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup. They won the treble 3 times, not quite on the trot, but in that late 80s sphere. And yeah, a great performance, holding Radley to a length only at this point in the race in the late stages. I think will be a really good, promising performance for a step on to next year. But Radley, this will be the final race this week for John Gearing as coach, who's been 17 years at the helm of Radley College. I used to race with John's sons actually back when I was a junior, but John coaching this crew here, a length in hand over Hampton School. And yeah, they made the final back in 2022, so looking once again to make it here in 2024, 2 years later. And through the enclosures, I think the PE is always one of the noisiest ones in the stewards enclosure, right, Sarah?
Absolutely. Having the PE on day one, I mean, obviously we've got a lot of races to get through, but I think really helps build that momentum and excitement at the beginning of the week, because as you say, it is one of the most popular events, and we're used to a very noisy stewards enclosure whenever the PE particularly comes down. Especially
2 British schools that are part of that sort of Basher Foundation. Radley there, a win by a length, just over a length, Hampton School in that day one matchup of the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup.